as you know, the routine is we do a stock of the day. Well, today's, it's Alcidion. Now, often we pick the stock of the day based on news. No news around Alcidion that I could see today, but I'll tell you why I picked it. Because it comes from one of our ausbiz contributors, Nickolas. Shout out to you, Nickolas. If you like what we do here at ausbiz, I think you should consider becoming a contributor. You can make a one-off or monthly contribution so we can keep bringing you quality, transparent market analysis, ideas, and opportunities. Did you know that none of our guests pay to appear on ausbiz? I think sometimes that's lost in the mix. Anyways, the point is when you become a contributor, your question for our experts gets sent straight to the front of the queue. So that is why I picked Nickolas's stock, Alcidion, as stock of the day today. And Nickolas, thank you. Thank you for valuing what we do. If you'd like to become a supporter, go to our website, ausbiz.com.au, or you can click through our newsletter. All right, public service announcement over. Let's get a view on Nickolas, for Nickolas on Alcidion. And this was for you, Luke. I'm going to turn to you first because am I wrong in saying that Alcidion has potentially not been living up to the promise that we were, have talked about previously with it?
Yeah, look, it's a really interesting pick for stock of the day because there's a lot to sort of talk about with it.
I think that's Henry.
Yeah,
go ahead.
All good. There's a lot to talk about with it. I think it's an interesting pick. So it's in that medical technology space, software that's around clinical decision making, and you can read any news headline about the cost blowout in the healthcare system, particularly in the hospital system. And everybody knows technology has to be the solution, and Alcidion has a really good product, and particularly over in the UK. Where they got a bit over their skis, like a lot of companies through that sort of 2021 period, post-COVID period, really expected growth to come through, and they built up their cost base for the growth that they expected to happen. But of course, one of the problems with governments, healthcare, is beautiful, sticky customers once you're in, but they can be quite slow in decision making. So Alcidion, sort of last year, the UK government, the NHS over there were quite slow bringing tenders to market, and they were sort of expecting things to happen quicker than what they ended up doing. So they were loss making. It wasn't what the market wanted to see. Share price got hit quite hard, but underneath that there's a good business here, like it's good software, great revenue visibility. They point out they've got 132 mil contracted revenue over the next 5 years. The issue was always that cost base. As I said, they ramped it up a little bit, expecting more. The CEO, Kate Quirk, I've spoken to her many times. I really like her and what she's doing. Had to make some tough decisions, rationalise that cost base a bit, taken $6 million off that. Had a bit of a bounce lately. I think that's the market sort of realising, okay, it's at that point now. We've got a nice fixed revenue coming in. We've rationalised the cost base, the business forecast break even second half and into FY25. I think it's at the point now, I don't own it with Merewether Capital. It's one, as I said, I've watched it for many times, spoken to Kate many times. I think I am sort of, I'm in a position I think the broader market has as well, which is just let's see, a few periods come in of that lower cost base. Let's see some growth return to the business, win a few contracts and get some tenders in. But if they can do that and they're positioned to do it right now, I think this business could do well. I think 76 mil market cap, which is nothing for that sort of medical healthcare and the space they play in. So I'll say a hold for Nick for the program. But as I said, I think it's a good stock to discuss because it's a beaten down stock price, but not necessarily a beaten down business. And I think they're ones to always look for.
But you are going to wait till you actually see evidence.
That's my
the
style.
turn.
I think for more speculative investors, I don't mind the idea of getting there a little bit early when you can sort of, for a business like this particular, you can sort of maybe time that inflection, that turnaround. You can see it. All the pieces are in place. For me, I'm just a little bit more risk averse, and I just love to see a period or two of, okay, we're through the worst of it, we've restructured, we've got growth, and you're always, you'll miss 30, 40, 50%, but you're in a safer position.
Got it. Henry, Alcidion, what are your thoughts on the stock of the day for Nickolas?
Well, what an eclectic bag of stocks we have today, and this certainly falls into that bag. This one I kind of liked a long time ago, and it's promised so much and delivered not quite anywhere near what the promise was or has been. The UK health service is an absolute catastrophe. Now, this company does play into that health service, National Health Service. Now, we do have an election coming up in the UK, July the 4th, Independence Day. I shall be there actually in the UK. In fact, I'll be at a wedding in Scotland on election day, which is going to be quite interesting, especially in Scotland. I guess I'm with Luke a little bit on this one. It promises such a lot. We know that technology, we know that is the future. And having been in a UK hospital some years ago, visiting a family member and looking at the piles of paper at the end of the bed on a clipboard, which was completely, it was just archaic that they were still doing it that way. This technology is good and replaces a lot of that. But, there is an election now, and we've got a choice in the UK when whether it's going to be Rishi Sunak in the rain or Sir Keir. And we shall see what happens. But certainly the NHS is going to play a major part in the election campaign for the next 6 weeks in the UK. And Keir Starmer does want to fix the NHS. Now, that may include more money for the NHS, which may really help Alcidion. So, it's 5.7 cents at the moment. It's a $76 million market cap, as Luke says. It's got $6.5 million in the bank. They last did a capital raise at 7.5 cents, so they're a bit underwater there. They've got no debt. The technology's cool. If you wanted a punt on the UK election and the NHS having some sort of miracle Lazarus-like resurrection from the pitiful state that it's in at the moment, and I hear stories from my family over there, it's just a catastrophe, then this could be a way to play it, I have to say. They just had an ASX price query as well on the back of this sort of slip down from 7 cents to 5.7 cents. They played the Schultz defense, which is I know nothing. And, they...
Okay. Sorry, Henry. Buy, hold, sell.
It's a hold.
Okay.
It's a hold.
It's a hold. It's a hold all around. And Nickolas, I think you got your money's worth there.